What if I told you that the first hour of your day could determine whether you achieve your biggest goals or just drift through life on autopilot? The truth is, successful people don't stumble into greatness. They engineer it, starting from the moment they open their eyes. And today, I'm going to walk you through 10 powerful morning habits that the world's highest achievers use to dominate their days. If you're serious about transforming your life, you'll want to stick around until the end because habit number 9 is something most people completely overlook. And hey, if you find value in this video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps me continue creating content that can genuinely change your life. Habit 1. Create a detailed action plan. Let's start with something that seems simple, but is absolutely game-changing. Creating a specific, detailed to-do list every single morning. Now, I'm not talking about some vague list where you write down, work on business or be productive. That's worthless. Successful people understand that specificity is power. Here's what separates amateurs from professionals. An amateur writes exercise today. A professional writes complete 30-minute high-intensity interval training at 7 a.m., followed by 10-minute cool-down stretch. See the difference? One is a wish, the other is a commitment. When you make your to-do list in the morning, every single item should be actionable and specific. Instead of work on presentation, write complete slides 5 through 12 of quarterly sales presentation. Instead of clean house, write vacuum living room and organized bedroom closet. The psychological impact is profound. When your tasks are vague, your brain doesn't know when you've actually completed them. But when you can definitively check off a specific task, your brain releases dopamine, which motivates you to tackle the next item. This creates a positive feedback loop that builds momentum throughout your entire day. Habit 2. Activate your body and mind. The second habit is all about creating energy and alertness the moment you wake up. Your body has been in rest mode for hours, and your metabolism has slowed down significantly. Successful people understand that they need to actively shift their physiology from sleep mode to performance mode. Some high achievers immediately engage in physical exercise. Maybe it's a morning run that gets their heart rate elevated and floods their system with endorphins. Others might do a quick bodyweight circuit right there in their bedroom. The goal isn't necessarily a full workout. The goal is to signal to your body that it's time to perform. Another powerful approach is cold showers. Yes, it sounds miserable, but here's what happens when you step into cold water. Your breathing automatically deepens, your blood circulation accelerates, and your nervous system shifts into high alert. Within just 2 or 3 minutes, you've gone from groggy to completely awake and energized. Many successful people swear by this method because it also builds mental toughness. If you can conquer the discomfort of a cold shower first thing in the morning, the other challenges of your day seem much more manageable. The key insight is that you cannot wait to feel energized. You must create that energy through deliberate action. Habit 3. Time block your priorities. Creating a to-do list is powerful, but habit number 3 takes it to the next level, assigning specific time blocks to each of your priorities. This is where most people fail. They have a list of things they want to accomplish, but without time constraints, tasks expand to fill whatever time is available. Successful people are fanatical about this. They don't just say, I need to write that report today. They say, I will write that report from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., and nothing will interrupt that time block. This level of specificity transforms your to-do list from a suggestion into a commitment. Let me give you a practical example. Let's say your morning includes preparing a client proposal, responding to emails, and planning content. Without time blocking, you might spend 3 hours lost in email and leave the proposal half finished. But with time blocking, you decide, client proposal from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. with 0 distractions. Batch process emails from 10:15 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. Plan content from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Suddenly, you've created structure and accountability. This approach also helps you identify when you're overcommitting. If you try to time block everything and realize you'd need 18 hours to complete it all, that's valuable information. It forces you to prioritize ruthlessly and focus on what will actually move the needle. Habit 4. Rise before the world wakes. Wake up early. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but I'm a night owl. And look, there are certainly successful people who keep unconventional hours. However, when you study the habits of extremely successful individuals across different industries, an overwhelming pattern emerges. They wake up early. We're talking about people like Tim Cook, who wakes up at 3:45 a.m., Michelle Obama, who's up at 4:30 a.m., Richard Branson, who rises at 5 a.m. When you wake up at 5 a.m. instead of 7 a.m., you've just given yourself 2 extra hours when the world is quiet, your phone isn't buzzing, and nobody is making demands on your time. Those are often the most productive hours of your entire day. There's also something psychologically powerful about knowing that while your competition is still asleep, you're already working on your goals. It builds confidence and momentum. By the time most people are starting their day at 9 a.m., you've already accomplished significant work. Now, it's critically important to mention that waking up early only works if you're also getting adequate sleep. The goal is to shift your entire schedule earlier, not to rob yourself of necessary rest. Most high performers aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Habit 5. Declare and visualize your future. Habit number 5 combines two incredibly powerful techniques: affirmations and visualization. These practices might sound abstract to some people, but there's solid psychological science behind why they work. Affirmations are positive, present tense statements about what you're going to accomplish. Instead of vague statements like, "I want to be successful," an effective affirmation would be, "I am building a thriving business that serves customers and creates real value." Or, "I am someone who follows through on commitments and takes consistent action toward my goals every single day." Your brain is constantly receiving information and deciding what to focus on. When you regularly affirm specific goals, you're programming your brain's filtering system to notice opportunities that align with those goals. One critical rule: always frame affirmations in positive terms. Instead of, "I won't procrastinate," say, "I take immediate action on my priorities." Visualization works in tandem with affirmations. This is where you close your eyes and create a vivid mental movie of yourself achieving your goals. Elite athletes have used this technique for decades. A basketball player visualizes making the perfect shot hundreds of times before the game. Your brain doesn't distinguish much between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. So when the real moment comes, you've already practiced it in your mind. Habit 6. Start with gratitude. Habit number 6 might be the most transformative on this entire list. Cultivating genuine gratitude first thing in the morning. When you wake up and immediately focus on what you're grateful for, you're training your brain to look for what's working in your life instead of what's broken. Most people wake up and immediately start thinking about their problems, their stress, their obligations. This activates your brain's threat detection systems and floods your body with stress hormones. But when you consciously direct your attention to gratitude, you activate different neural pathways. You stimulate the production of serotonin and dopamine, the neurotransmitters associated with happiness. What should you be grateful for? Honestly, anything and everything. You could be grateful that you woke up this morning with another opportunity. You could be grateful for your health, your family, your home, access to clean water. You might even be grateful for challenges you're facing because they're making you stronger. Here's the beautiful thing about gratitude. It's one of the fastest ways to shift your emotional state. If you're feeling anxious or frustrated, spending just 3 minutes listing things you're grateful for can completely transform your mood. And when you start your day from a place of gratitude and positivity, people are naturally drawn to you. You become more creative, more solution-oriented, and more likely to spot opportunities. Habit 7. Connect with someone you care about. Human beings are social creatures. And one of the most underrated morning habits is making time for meaningful connection with someone you care about. If you live with a partner or family, this might mean spending quality time together before the demands of the day pull everyone in different directions. There's actual neuroscience behind why this matters. Physical touch and emotional connection trigger the release of oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. This chemical doesn't just make you feel good, it reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and creates a sense of well-being that can carry through your entire day. For successful people who understand that relationships are one of the most important aspects of a fulfilling life, this morning habit serves multiple purposes. First, it ensures that no matter how busy the day gets, you've already invested in your most important relationships. Second, it reminds you what you're working for. Success isn't just about achievements. It's about having people to share your life with. If you don't live with someone, you can still incorporate this habit. Maybe you call a family member during your morning routine, or you meet a friend for coffee before work. The key is making that connection intentional and meaningful. Put away your phone, be fully present, and genuinely engage. Habit 8, reset your environment. Here's a morning habit that might seem mundane, but has an outsized impact on your productivity. Cleaning up and organizing your workspace from the previous day. Many successful people, especially entrepreneurs, make this one of their first tasks each morning. Why? Because your external environment has a direct impact on your mental clarity and ability to focus. When you sit down at a cluttered desk with papers everywhere and random notes scattered around, your brain has to process all of that visual noise before it can focus on actual work. It's like trying to run complex software on an overloaded computer. Everything slows down. The reason to do this in the morning rather than at the end of the previous day is strategic. At the end of a long day, your willpower is depleted. But in the morning, after a good night's sleep, your willpower is fully recharged. You have the discipline and mental clarity to quickly reset your space. This habit extends beyond just your desk. Some successful people make their bed first thing every morning, not because they're obsessed with how their bedroom looks, but because it's a small victory that starts the day with accomplishment. It's one thing you can control completely, and it sets a tone of order and intentionality. Habit 9. Embrace stillness and silence. This is the habit I mentioned at the beginning that most people completely overlook, incorporating silence and stillness into your morning routine. In our hyper-connected world, silence has become incredibly rare and incredibly valuable. Many successful people protect a period of silence in their morning routine like their life depends on it. This might look like meditation, but it doesn't have to be formal practice. It could simply be sitting quietly with a cup of coffee, looking out the window and letting your mind settle. No phone, no music, no podcasts, just you and your thoughts. Why is this so powerful? When you immediately fill your morning with stimulation, checking email, scrolling social media, watching news, you're letting the external world hijack your attention before you've checked in with yourself. You go into reactive mode instead of intentional mode. But when you create space for silence, something remarkable happens. You gain clarity about what actually matters. This is especially important for introverts who recharge through solitude and quiet reflection. In the silence, you might get insights about a problem you've been wrestling with. You might realize that something you've been stressing about isn't actually that important. You might simply feel more centered and grounded. The most successful people understand that their ability to think clearly is their most valuable asset. Silence and stillness in the morning is how they sharpen that asset. Habit 10. Review what happened while you slept. The 10th and final habit is to spend a few minutes catching up on relevant information from the time you were sleeping. Now, this needs to be done very strategically because there's a big difference between staying informed and drowning in negativity. Successful people are deliberate about what information they consume in the morning. They're not scrolling through social media or getting sucked into sensationalized news stories. Instead, they're looking at information that's directly relevant to their goals and responsibilities. If you're in business, this might mean checking industry news or market developments. If you're in a global field, it might mean understanding what happened in other time zones. The key principle is to filter ruthlessly. Most of what passes for news is either irrelevant to your life or actively harmful to your mental state. Stories about distant tragedies, political conflicts you can't influence, celebrity gossip, none of this serves you. In fact, consuming this kind of content first thing in the morning sets a negative tone for your entire day. Instead, focus on information that either helps you make better decisions or connects to your specific field. Many successful people also use this time to read something educational or inspirational. Maybe it's a chapter from a book in their field, or insights from a mentor they follow. The goal is to feed your mind with high-quality input that makes you sharper, not fearful and distracted. Bringing it all together, let's quickly recap these 10 powerful habits. Number 1. Create a detailed, specific action plan with clear, actionable items. Number two, activate your body and mind through exercise, cold showers, or other energizing activities. Number three, time block your priorities so every important task has a designated time slot. Number four, wake up early to gain quiet, focused hours before the world demands your attention. Number five, use affirmations and visualization to program your mind for success. Number six, start with gratitude to shift your brain chemistry toward positivity and possibility. Number seven, connect meaningfully with someone you care about to build your emotional foundation. Number eight, reset your environment by cleaning and organizing to eliminate mental clutter. Number nine, embrace silence and stillness to gain clarity and operate from intention rather than reaction. Number 10, strategically review relevant information while filtering out noise and negativity. Here's the truth. Implementing even 3 or 4 of these habits will transform your mornings, and transforming your mornings will transform your life. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do all 10 habits every single day. But if you commit to building a morning routine based on these principles, you'll find that success stops being something you hope for and starts being something you engineer systematically. The most successful people in the world aren't just lucky or talented. They're strategic about how they start their days. They understand that the first hour sets the tone for everything that follows. So tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off, you have a choice. You can hit snooze and start your day in reactive mode, or you can implement these habits and start your day with intention, energy, and purpose. The choice is yours, and it starts tomorrow morning.